Whenever I find one of these decks that I feel like has potential, I always like to do a little follow-up video where I showcase a bunch of games with them. I did it with Chaos Fairies, I did it with Reptilian, and now I am doing it with Moja Synchro Cat, of all things. So we got a bunch of reasonably okay matches that I'm going to be showing off of the deck. For those of you who are interested in the deck profile, I will be posting a video of that tomorrow on this channel. I would prefer to do it in paper format where I can fully just like explain everything, and of course have the shiny cardboard for everyone to marvel at. So if you're upset that it's not in this video, just like be patient. It'll be here tomorrow. I'll do the deck profile and you'll get to see everything then. But today we're just focusing on gameplay, so I think I got like, I don't know, a bunch of matches. I played like probably close to 50 or more matches against just random people this week. Obviously, of course, there aren't a lot of those matches that end up being actually good or competitive, but here are a few. So I picked out, I don't know, a few that I lost as well, but I did win most of the games, so that's going to be reflected here. So as you can see, the first match I'm up against frogs, hero frogs. So I make a play here where I go for the Arabellum because I'm reasonably confident that it's hero frog. I've just been running into a lot of frogs lately, so I go into this Arabellum and I'm like, we can use this mind control maybe, and we can just like get in and start ripping cards because the sort of cat aspect of ripping cards out of the opponent's hand is very good against frogs. It's one of your big advantages against them, because otherwise, like, the Hamster Raikou stuff is really garbage versus that, but obviously the Arabellum just hand rips can give you a huge leg up here. So we're going to go rip a card with the mind control, making the dupe mistiming, of course. Opponent just goes MST off the top, which I see why they did this, because Prio MST plays around Dust Shoot here. So it's probably correct to do it, and they're about to make a play. They end up going for Stratos, which I guess they had to do because they forgot to send Treeborn, which they're not even in a great spot here if they Caius, because there's like, they can only clear 2 of these threats with Caius, and one of them requires them to trade the Caius with it, basically. So they could go Caius, banish one of the set monsters, crash, but that's like the best they could do. But they just forgot to send Treeborn, so they decided to use Miracle Fusion instead. So we are going to have to eat this Ab-Zero at some point. The Stratos is just going to give us another Raikou, so I decided we're just going to flip everything up, and by then we don't really mind losing the monsters because they've all done their job in terms of the flip effects. We just go for the Avarice. Draw. We find a Rescue Cat off the top, which is great. One of the big reasons I like this deck is because of the play where you can go like Cat into Moja and just special out King of the Beasts, because, well, in this situation it's a bit different because we're still having an Arabellum die in end phase, but there's a lot of times where you'll do the play with Monk and you'll just have the second Arabellum die, but instead of doing that, you can just like go Moja and summon King of the Beasts rather than just trading Arabellum for 1 card in their hand. So ending on a 25 is pretty good. It's probably better than just ripping a card for 1 Arabellum, depending on what the card is, of course. So we do go for this play. We rip a card. We end on the King of the Beasts, and yeah, the opponent not having Treeborn is really bad there, but they can't really do anything with that hand anyway since we hit the Caius. Game 2, this is kind of awkward. I think I just like Mega Brick on side deck cards here. I could have just summoned Dinah here. In fact, I would have been fine if I just like summoned Dinah, but usually they have like outs post board, so I kind of want to debate those first. So I'm just like, oh, we'll go for the Arabellum rip, but maybe I should have considered that we just like lose to Gore's Trag, which they have both of here. I don't know, maybe I figured I would like draw more gas or something, but probably a misplay in hindsight. They do draw Stratos anyway, so they would have just outed my Dinah, I guess. So maybe there was just nothing we could do in this game. We're just bricked on side deck cards, just all side deck cards and double Arabellum. Then we draw into a Mojo, which doesn't do anything to unbrick our hand. We use the Mind Crush just to make the Trag smaller. So I just scoop it up right then and there. I'm like, all right, this doesn't do anything. We need to draw like some actual piece of our engine if we want to do anything. So we go set the Hamster. The opponent just does nothing because they don't have Frog. They could have 1-for-1, but I'm figuring they want to resolve like the Fader or the Gores first, and then get their value out of 1-for-1 and do full sub thing. So we just go Oh, I actually brain to get rid of the Fader. I'm reading that they have like a weak hand because they didn't have a Swap Frog or a Substitute starter, which is kind of the case, but they do have that 1-for-1. So we do make Stardust set Iron Wall. Now, Stardust Iron Wall is like pretty strong here. It turns off like the Miracle Fusions and the Caiuses, so the only way they're actually outing this is with Ryza specifically. And here we go for the Monk play, because we might as well. We get the Moja. Why did I get the Moja? I guess... Okay, I just wanted to make a level 8 Synchro. Maybe. In main 2, but that plan gets kind of disrupted by the Gores drop. We do get the hand rip, and we are going to get out the Gores. Okay, we mill a King of the Beast, which was really lucky with the Raikou in main 2. So then I just end up making Android with that Raikou and ending on this, which is pretty good given that we have the Stardust Iron Wall again. This is extremely good versus the Hero Frog deck. One thing is a little weird. I kind of want to use my Crow before I Iron Wall. They go for the Kais, but we have that Iron Wall flip, and yeah, this is really bad for them. They maybe should have just crashed into the Android. I feel like the Android's the bigger threat than the Monk by far here. Obviously, if I draw Pot of Avarice and then draw another spell, I guess they're out of luck, but... yeah, just leaving the Android there is not so good, because now we're just going to hit over that Caius and get to keep the Android. They do have the T-Roar, actually. Okay. So, the Caius is going to get to stay. It's going to get to live another turn, but I think he just hits over Beast Striker now. Honestly, maybe he should have summoned another one and hit over 2 things, but I get that he wants to find the out to Iron Wall. However, now I draw Fossil Dyna, and now the game is extremely over, because we have, like, just... the trifecta of, like, screw you, frogs. We have no special summon, no banish, and Stardust protecting things. So, yeah, tough one for the opponent in game number 3. We kind of drew the right side deck cards at the right time there. All right, next match up against, I forget. I'm not going to remember. There's, like, a bunch of matches here. We're just going to have to find out. So this is against, I think this is the Mirror. Yeah, this guy was playing, like, Caliber Cat or something. We get turn 1 Dust Shooted, which is, like... bad, and on top of that, we have like a pretty awkward hand too, going second into set Raikou. So maybe I should have just gone for the Airbell play there, because now I can't do anything with this brain. I guess, okay, I just summon that, try to hit over, but they have the Deep Prison, which sucks. I go past, try to bluff Gores, but they aren't. Well, even if they are buying it, they have Smashing around Deep Prison, so they don't really have to care. Here, I make like a kind of desperation play. We just hit. They do book, so I set both my cards, and I'm like, all right, we can book here. But now he's got Bottomless and Deep Prison, so I just set the Judgment. We're taking 16 to the face. And yeah, this one just kind of turns out to be a non-game because of turn 1 Dust Shoot. I mean, we're getting kind of back into it here with the Hamster, but it's taken so long. So we can, like... Okay, I made a huge throw here. First of all, I could have used Cold Wave. No, I couldn't use Cold Wave. But I should have just hit this card. Because obviously the thing he set into Raikou is the thing he wants, is the bluff that he wants me to pop. I should have hit the old one, like for sure, but instead I just like flipped the coin or something and 50-50'd it and hit the new one. But I should always just go for the old one here, because he set this knowing I would just Raikou pop. So big misplay. I just popped this and brained that and then like ripped a card and synchroed off. We'd have been in a really good spot. He's got a like dead Pot of Avarice in hand, and I don't know. Yeah, we probably could have won this game, actually, if we hadn't just, like, thrown like that. But instead we get the Brain Con guy deprisoned. And then the opponent draws Sork, which outs this board. He could have actually gone for game there, but he opted not to. So we probably should have lost. But now he's got, like, Monk into Cat into Pot of Avarice, so we just super giga lose. Yeah, that was probably a bit of a throw on my part, but then again, turn 1 Dust Shoot's kind of a what can you do? I don't know, because him drawing Monk and Sork right after one another was probably just unbeatable anyway, and getting his Avarice live. Game number 2, though, I mean, sometimes you just have Monk spell, and that's all she wrote. So we're just going to rip apart the opponent's hand. We do hit the Cat, I think, off the... I mean, we didn't really get super lucky here, because he had Cat and Brain Con in hand, and we ripped the only dead card in his hand. So he's going to get that Sork. He goes for the Mind Con. Unfortunately, he can use the Hamster as well, so it's going to be pretty value. We go set. I'm hoping he pops the back row so that I can chain the book, and he does. Now he makes Android, hits in. We're going to get that Super Nimble Mega Hamster. Go for a Moja. Oh, I was out of Airbellums. Okay. I was out of Airbellums, and I think I was also out of Raikous, maybe. It There's kind of like these matches, I was like switching in and out a lot of cards. Like sometimes I'm on the Giant Rat and sometimes I'm not. And sometimes I'm on 2 Raikos, sometimes I'm on 3 Raikos. So it's not like completely consistent over all these. This is like a week's worth of games, so keep that in mind. Here, I decided to preserve the Raiko, just go for the Rat into the Grand Mole bounce. Opponent top deck's Pot of Avarice, which is extremely good, but I mean, anyway, you guys are going to see the concluded build tomorrow, as I mentioned. So we draw Pot of Avarice, which is also pretty good. We mill the King of the Beasts, which is extremely good. It's going to let us just put a 2,500 on the board, and depending on what we draw, we can probably just win. Actually, we can't. We are short on damage, so the opponent goes Doom Cow, hits into Moja. Moja is going to trade with the Doom Cow. They go Sork, banish my King of the Beasts. So that's a bit rough. I don't think we have another one. Oh, no, we do have another one. We're just out of Mojas. Maybe I shouldn't have set that Moja, actually. I just go for Mole Bounce, hoping to force the back row, and then Mind Control Banish, which is going to work out. Opponent goes Cyber Dragon. I go set Giant Rat. We go set, 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 set. He makes Stardust. Unfortunately, no Grand Mole left in next. We got to search the Cat. Cat's going to get me 2 Airbellums. We sink for Brionac. We're going to lose priority, of course. So, fortunately, this is just a bluff and not bottomless. We bounce and go for game. So, game 2, pretty clean on my part, I think. Not a lot of major misplays. And game 3, no Dust Shoot to blame this one on. We kind of just drew garbage. We did bait the Mind Control, but he has the Airbellum anyway. I mean, yeah, sometimes hands like this will happen where you're just going second and you're down on tempo and you have a bunch of normal summons. I tried to cut the normal summon ratio down to a reasonable number in the final build, so hopefully hands like this won't happen too often, but it is rough. We do have the Hamster still, so we're not, like, out of it, but, like, the Hamster can't get Raiko because on this build I'm only on 2 Raiko. I think in the final build, I cut, like, the charge and just kept 2 Raiko, so running out of Raiko is a much less of a problem. We go for the Rat. Unfortunately, it's D-Prison, which is really rough. Maybe I should have just set it, but I feel like you're just waiting for the opponent to draw, like, Caius or something at that point. We're live on 50 life. I go for the Mind Control play, and, I mean, this is pretty much game over because he's just going to summon a monster and kill us. Unfortunate game number 3 there. We just kind of had an awkward hand. I feel like if we hadn't misplayed game 1, maybe we could have won it, possibly, and won this match. So every little instance of optimal play does matter. Then we wouldn't have even had to worry about this terrible game number 3 if we'd managed to pull out that one against the odds. But yeah, tough loss in the mirror match. Here we're up against Blab. Blab is, of course, a very prominent quick draw player. So he goes first set Shell, and then I think he just tributes for Sidra, which is, I guess he just does this to get the Shell live faster, which is fine. We drop Trag, we hit over with Trag. I think he drops Trag back. Maybe I should have just set this Raiko. I don't know. Yeah, I could see doing that. I guess I was just thinking I had the Torrential set, so I didn't want to. Here he goes for the Raiko, hits the Torrential, so we're just going to use it. They have Avarice. I decided to Judgment that, which in hindsight I think was wrong. Because it gets me to this super low life point range, where now I'm just like dead to Caius, and he has Brain Con in hand too. I think I actually ripped the Brain Con with the Airbellum though, so that was a very lucky break for me. Oh no, I ripped the Caius. Okay. He goes Storm, and then I have the Book of Moon to dodge the Brain Con. I probably should have deduced that he had Brain Con, because he like typed in chat some thing implying that he was sacking me. So maybe this was a misplay flipping this card. But we set a bunch of things. He goes pop my monster and has Brain Con, and there's nothing I can call the Haunted to live here. So maybe a slight misplay there. I don't know. It's like, is it really... Does it count as a misplay if I like should have deduced from something he said? I don't know. We go for MST. He has Chain Dust Shoot. I think I should have just like used the Solemn on the back row rather than like being greedy and trying to space it. That was definitely a screw up. Just like going -1 there for no reason. So we do the meme. We go for the double Airbellums. We rip a card. He does have the Gores, so he's not going to get 2 cards ripped, but he's going to get the Gores Arcanited. So basically like just the same thing. We have an Avarice as well, which is going to be live soon. So we're in a pretty good spot here. Opponent actually makes a Stardust and has multiple back row. So this is a kind of tough spot. We do have that Pot of Avarice, though. And if we can trigger Stardust, we can out it with the DD Crow. So we're not in a terrible spot. I go set Mind Crush. I feel like there's no way he just falls for attacking straight into Gores, so I kind of have to do this blind Mind Crush thing and take the 1 in 4 chance of just losing the game. But we get the Gores, and we just have to say it's not Mirror Force, or we're going to lose. We hit in with the token, we crash. He has double Avarice, which are still not live. We go for the cat play, and now we're in a really good spot. We rip that Pot of Avarice out of his hand. I think we make Android with the one that we summoned off cat, and we pass. We go Sangan attack, so we managed to pull that one out. Despite a little bit of a shaky mid-game there where he was sitting on that Stardust. Game 3, he just goes summon Thunder King, pass. We hit in with the Card Trooper. Here we get greedy, we go for the Monk thing again. Maybe I shouldn't have committed my normal summon this early. He ends up having Fader, which is real awkward. If it was just the Gores, obviously this would be no problem. But with the Fader, we don't even get to rip a card, so it's like... yeah. And he still has the Gores, just like waiting for us. So real good Battle Fader there for him. Battle Fader is definitely an annoying card for this deck to deal with. So we end up swapping the AFD and hitting over, and now he's just going to get like a really big Trag and start beating the crap out of us. So not great. I think he's going to steal the Moja with the shell and then make drill, and at this point the game is pretty much over. Unless we have some like crazy top deck Avarice play. Which we do not get, I believe. And he could... Does he ever like space my back row here? I feel like he probably should have when you're this far ahead on card event. Okay, no wait, I just end up spacing the D prison. So we're gonna get to live a turn with the Trag. I feel like he could have found game through Trag somehow here, probably. Couldn't he have just like summoned another drill? Summon another drill, have them both hit with Trag first? Oh wait, no, because then the Trag's gonna be way smaller. Trag would be like 3 entire cards smaller, so it's gonna be like 24. So I would be on what? 35. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I don't know. Maybe there was not a way. Maybe he figured it out, but yeah, we are just we're just on nothing here. I don't know if I played game 3 badly. I definitely made a mistake in game 1, possibly. But just a little bit of tough luck maybe in game number 3 with the Battle Fader. I guess I could have been a little bit more conservative, given that he was just like summon Thunder King pass, not setting any back row. But I don't know. I can't clearly identify what I did wrong in this replay, actually. Anyway, let's get into some more of the matches. We got a bunch more to go, so can't be pondering too much here. We're going up against Welidad Zombies here. We have the turn 1 Dust Shoot. I decided to slow roll it here because I want this Torrential Tribute to go off, of course. Probably like the best trap in the game, so if I can bait out Spell Trap removal here, it would be very good. Fortunately, he doesn't have it, so he's just going to summon Krebon's attack. And I also believe I didn't know the matchup yet, which is another reason where I didn't just shotgun it. So against zombies, I would generally just shotgun it because, I don't know, sometimes you can like brick their awkward hands depending on the zombie build, and this is one of the builds with Malicious. So I end up taking the Malicious. Why did I do that? Was there a reason? I didn't want him to like banish it and then get it back RFDD and make a synchro. I don't know. Actually, I can't think of a reason why I would take Mally there. He's going to Allure, though. Allure is probably one of the best ways in the entire format to recover from Dust Shoot, because it lets you just cycle and get 2 new cards that your opponent doesn't know about. So here, I think we just go for the Monk and pitch the Upstart Goblin, go for the Cat, go for the Airbellums. We know the set card is RFDD, and I'm like, we just got to get rid of that. He maybe could have used it here to avoid getting 2 cards ripped. I feel like half your life is probably worth... because if I want to rip cards, I would have to go through the Goblin Zombie, and then he could get like a Mizuki or something, and then maybe get it pitched. So it wouldn't be as neg for him, but he would be giving up a lot of life points to do that. So I hit him with the Arcanite, and he's just kind of on nothing at this point. I decided to pop the monster anyway, even though I was pretty sure... Like, usually if they're going to set something there, it's something that they are, like, fine with getting popped, but he might just be, like, setting a tomato or something out of desperation, trying to mind game me. So I just go for the Hamster. I mean, we're just up so many cards because of that monk play from earlier, and getting rid of the RFDD and the turn 1 dust shoot. Turn 1 dust shoot is really where it all went downhill for the opponent here. So I tribute summon this just to try to go for game. The opponent's just going to pay some life. Okay, wait, no. I book it. Oh, I like replay battle. Can you even... Can you Krebons on a replay? I have no clue about that, but I end up just booking it and replaying. So he's going to summon Goyo and take my hamster. I guess because the hamster is more defense, but he's just dead to my brain control here with the end phase space. So not a lot the opponent could do there. I mean, turn 1 does shoot. That's just how it is. That's how we lost earlier. So, and we draw Cold Wave Monk. We're actually just sacking the hell out of this guy, aren't we? Cold Wave Monk in game number 2. So we go for it. And I believe, yeah, the set monster's Recruiter instead of a Goblin Zombie. So this is going to turn out real rough for the opponent. We're going to get to rip a card. So we do that. We rip the Goblin Zombie. And now spell traps are on again. We're going to dig with the Upstart. I think the Upstart didn't make the cut in the final build. Part of the reason is that it conflicts with Cold Wave, but another part of the reason we just kind of ran out of space for stuff because we're cramming lots of things in. He actually has a pretty good play here with the Tribute Caius over the Goblin Zombie. He's going to hit over my Arcanite, but we still have this this King of the Beasts in our... Or this King of the Beasts. This King of the Beasts is kind of garbage right now, actually. We have the Gores, though. So the opponent flips up the Goblin. They're hitting into our stuff. I just get the Moja, so I'm like... I can get this King of the Beasts on the field. We pick off the back row, which we fortunately hit the bottomless, which would have been very good. Here, he actually goes for Torrential, which I'm extremely okay with that Torrential Tribute in this situation. He goes for the Zombie Master. We're fine with that. He's going to play into Gores here. So we're going to get to drop the big Gores with the big token. We go for Minecon. And then, yeah, pitch this because it's just a dead card in our hand that you want to get to grave because you can just bring it back. And then we end up making... Do I make Bryonic? Okay, so we play around Mirror. We switch everything. We just attack. He's got a Call of the Haunted. I could have crowed that, but I'm not going to have it for Plague. So we just hit it again. He's got the Deep Prison this time. And, yeah, this is becoming very rough very quickly. Opponent goes for Bryonic, gets rid of my token. Fortunately, he gets really greedy with this play by going Brio. He could have just made, like, Goyo, and there would have been nothing I could do. But he's like, oh, I'll Brio 1, and then I'll use the Mally, and I'll get a level 8 Synchro on top of my Briodac. And then the Crow allows me to disrupt that play, so he can't get behind, he can't get past the Gores wall. And then I top deck Pot of Avarice. So we're just sacking our way. And then I draw Storm. And now we can just run over both of his monsters, and we're in a really good... I feel kind of like we stole this game, to be honest. Yeah, we end up winning. Damn, I feel like I should not have been able to win from that position, but it happened somehow. Let's see. Another match. We're up against... What are we up against here? Oh, Gladiator Beast. I think there's 2 Gladiator Beast replays. I kept running into Gladiator Beast to my great dismay because I hate this deck so much. I hate it with a passion. But we have multiple Raikos here. They're actually main deck Fissure in this build, which is super obnoxious. So I think I just hit it at the D Fissure first because I want my mills to actually go to the graveyard. Then we just pop the monster, and then we summon the Airbellum, and we hit. And the opponent's field is not great at dealing with this. They have just Legacy of Yada, Waboku, so they go straight neg just to preserve a card in hand. I mean, maybe they should have just eaten the hand rip, honestly, here. And kept their Waboku. I guess maybe the cards in their hand are probably better than the Waboku. But we're just going to make... okay, I make Black Rose because it's the biggest thing I can make. And I set Bottomless Judgment behind it. And I'm like, okay, we're chilling. We got Bottomless Judgment. I think the opponent here probably should have searched something that would have gotten under Bottomless. They go for Shrink, though, so it doesn't really matter. But they could have kept their Shrink. I mean, yeah. So they go for the Test Tiger. I feel like I have to Judgment here, or it's going to be bad. They're going to go Murmillo, and they're going to hit for 8, and they're going to go, like, Bestie. So, yeah, I definitely had a Judgment here. They end up hitting into the set Sangam. We get Rescue Cat. So now we have Brain Cat. So I have good luck to the opponent. I do Torrential that, and we go for the Cat. We get double Moja. What the hell? Oh, I guess I didn't have Airbellum. I drew my last Airbellum. That's so sad. I do believe I ended up playing 2 Airbellums in the final build. I'm giving a lot of spoilers on the final build, but yeah, there's not enough ways to actually convert Airbellum to play 3. So I think 2 is generally a fine ratio. Obviously, sometimes you wish you had the 3rd one, but like drawing it is so bad. Game 2, we're looking in kind of trouble here with the Gyzaris play, but we are going to have that Book of Moon. So we have... Yeah, this is decent. We can, like, storm into Beast Striker, and then... Oh, crap, I'm out of Mojas in deck. Damn, that's... Man, I've gone through a lot of cards here. Yeah, I was thinking we could go Beast Striker into another Moja, into the King of the Beasts, and we'd be in a really strong spot. But we just go Beast Striker hit over, because Beast Striker is just bigger than every GB. And, as you're going to see, Beast Striker is actually quite oppressive here, because my opponent cannot do anything, because they can't get around it. So I just say, you don't play 2 Hiplomas here, so I hit in. The opponent, in fact, does not play 2 Hiplomas, so we're just going to hit in. We're not putting anything else on the field because this Beast Striker dominates the board. The opponent goes... we have the Mirror Force, though, so it's all good. I think he actually Judgments my Beast Striker here. He wasn't using this card earlier, so I figured it was nothing. So I don't use the Cold Wave. But I'm, like, just kind of okay with getting my Beast Striker solemned. I feel like that's pretty valid. The opponent ends up, like, doing this weird play with... where they, like, tag with their Laquari when they shouldn't have. Because I think this is, like, the only thing left, or their best thing left. Because they hard drew the... Well, you don't want to go into this anyway, actually. Yeah, they just not have... They don't have Ready Aria anymore because of... Because I killed it earlier. But we draw one of our Avarices, finally. We draw one of our Avarices, finally. And now we're in such a great spot. We go Moja, King of the Beasts. We hit over the Secutor, which is... It's very good because we need to get rid of that, and it seems like the replay has glitched out. But I ended up winning that game number. Was that all game number 1? Damn, that was a long game number 1. Okay, that was a slog. That felt like 2 games. Anyway, game number 2, we got a decent hand. The opponent, in fact, has no GBs. They take the Beast Striker off the Dust Shoot because they're just like, we cannot lose to Beast Striker beat down again. And then they're actually teching in Ancient Forest, which stops the flip monsters, I guess, is the logic. I don't know if this card's very good, though, because the effect just lets me, like, clear all of the little guys from my field after I've gotten value out of them, so that my opponent can't just hit over them with a GB. So it's actually, like, kind of beneficial in situations like this. He hits in. I feel like he wouldn't be doing this without War Chariot, but he actually is doing it without War Chariot, which ends up being pretty favorable for me. He's got the Waboku. He knows about the My Body, which is a big issue. It would be much less of an issue if he didn't know this card was My Body. But he does. I think we were wondering whether I could use this on Ancient Forest, and I looked up the ruling, and the ruling on Ancient Forest implied that I could, but maybe it's different in Edison, because I think someone messaged me later and said that it was different. I don't think it ends up coming up, though, if I remember in this game. I think it just doesn't get used on Ancient Forest, because I'm just, like, cool with the Ancient Forest being there. So here... I kind of want to get rid of the Dim Fizz because it's just annoying, I guess. I don't know. I milled 2 of my Avarices earlier. Was it really that much of a priority to get rid of the Dimensional Fissure? I'm not sure that was the right play there. Did I make a screw up? Anyway, they flip Mask of Restrict on my Moja summon. So I'm like, damn. Is that even good? It only affects like 2 cards in my whole deck, but it is annoying right now because I can't summon my big beater. But we just booked the Raikou deck back down, and we get the King of the Beast, and yeah, that eats a My Body every time. So then we just use the Ancient Forest to clear our own field, and we Avarice things back. Okay, wait, I do end up getting this Avarice live somehow. Was this in my hand when I used the Raikou on the Deep Fissure? Am I like blanking out here? So we use the Ancient Forest to make our Avarice live rather than just leave the King of the Beast sitting there, because like if we're not going to attack with it, is there even a point in leaving it sitting there? I guess it stopped them, but we're on like 65 life, so I feel like we'd rather just cycle cards and like try to find stuff to make actual plays. And we're passing back and forth a lot here. I don't know why he dusted at that point, but yeah, we just dust in response to his dust. So here, he finally summons a monster, so I'm like, maybe we can Sidra run over it, but it's actually the one that I can't Sidra run over. I decided to hold on to the Sidra. I just hit in and let Ancient Forest kill his monster. I feel like this Ancient Forest has done so much work for me. Unironically, it's just been so great. Like, it was going to be a super awkward brain conversion where I have to, like, summon Sidra, or tribute summon Sidra, and therefore not get, like, the tempo value out of my Sidra. But I can just, like, brain his guy and kill it with this own Ancient Forest. So here, we do have lethal here, so we go for it with the Cold Wave. The opponent has... Oh, wait, this isn't lethal. What am I talking about? Oh, no, it is. It is, because... Wait, what was I thinking? All right, okay, wait. Oh, it is lethal. There is a line to lethal. I'm not crazy. All right, so he changed the Master Restrict, and we actually have to get rid of that because it messes up with my lethal line. But the play is summon Sidra, hit over this, and then this gets shuffled back, and then we beat him for 25. All right, I don't know why I didn't see that in hindsight, but in the moment I saw it, and that's what matters. So we're going to end up taking the W over GB's 2-0. 2 more games here. I think, what is this one against? This one is against Diva Hero? Is it? I think this one's against Diva Hero. Yeah. So the opponent's done a pretty standard Diva Hero turn 1 play. You know, get the Stratos, get the Infernal Prodigy that they desperately need with their double Caius Mally hand. They hit over our Trooper, which is whatever. We go for a bit of a risky play here. We end up getting Mirror Forced, of course, which is okay. It's like a 2-for-1 for them. But now we just have Cat into Avarice, so we're big chilling here. The Gores is going to throw me for a loop, though. That's an issue. We end up ripping the Miracle, which is extremely good. It's probably the best card we could have ripped. And we get to resolve the Avarice, and we have this Mirror Force to protect us from the Gores, so I feel like we're chilling still. I just end up setting everything with the Solemn Judgment, so now we're extremely fine. We stop that. We just bottomless the Caius. I want to keep that Judgment around, and we draw Beast Striker, go into Moja. Of course, Moja is now live because we pitched the other Beast Striker. The opponent goes for Caius. I decided to Judgment this because we kind of have to. I think it's just way too good for him here. It's gonna out both my monsters, and we don't have an immediate answer. Here we go for Call, get back that card Trooper, summon Grand Mole, attack for game. So pretty clean game number 1 there for me. In game number 2, we have that Iron Wall. Iron Wall, insane versus Diva Hero. Just really good card. Stops the Miracle Fusion, stops the Caius, stops, you know, Allure and Dad and stuff from being activated, and any Bottomless or Deep Prison they might have as well. So interacts with a ton of cards. Iron Wall is a side deck card that I think is extremely underrated. Here we're going to go for the classic Beast Striker, pitch King of the Beast, get Moja, bring back the King of the Beast. That's going to eat a Bottomless, unfortunately. I made a huge screw up here. I should have just preemptively flipped Iron Wall. And even if I didn't preemptively flip Iron Wall, I should have flipped the Iron Wall to make sure this went to the graveyard instead of getting banished, so that I could just bring it back for Moja. So that play that threw me the game completely. I think I just forgot that I had Iron Wall set or something. I just completely blanked out, completely spaced out, didn't use it, and it's going to cost me big time. So the opponent goes for the Mind Control. They actually don't summon the Diva. I guess they don't have Gilman in deck, so it doesn't really do anything. They could have Synchroed 8 with my Moja, but I guess they just figured it didn't matter. Yeah. And I'm just cursing myself here for not flipping that Iron Wall earlier. We do have a play, though. We can go Airbell and rip a card and sync with their Android, I guess. But it is... Obviously, this is not great. We ripped the best card in their hand again. We're just sniping those brain cons. We go for the... Okay, we just make Colossal in defense. I guess there's not much point in making Stardust here. But the opponent's going to have Brianak and pitch Mally, bounce my guy. We have Brain off the top, so we're getting really lucky here. I could have bounced my own Call and then bounced Brio, which I should have done because there's a Gores left in my deck that could conceivably be live. We get Hamster, which is whatever. We set Iron Wall. I think they go Caius Judgment, and then I'm like, all right. Yeah, that's it. So they had the out for the Iron Wall both times. Like I said, though, should have flipped it on that first turn when I summoned the King of the Beast, because I think this was a winnable game probably if I'd preemptively flipped that and just kept the King of the Beast in rotation, because I had the second Moja in my hand too. It really screwed me over. Anyway, opponent goes for Storm Summon Alias, which is fine. We get that Raikou. I decided we just need to get rid of that thing, and we set Iron Wall. Opponent, I feel like they should have gone Prodigy Mally here. Yeah, they definitely should have gone Prodigy Mally. Just get that draw, get your Mally in rotation. I end up crowing the Treeborn. I don't know if I needed to crow that Treeborn. Because if they could tribute summon Caius, we just flip Iron Wall. And they're probably not going to tribute summon Caius here anyway. Maybe I just wanted to force through some play next turn, where maybe I can top deck something. I feel like that's not very likely, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking in half of these games, honestly. In hindsight, I'm a terrible player who doesn't know how to play his own deck. So we go for the Beast Striker to get that Avarice live. which is a very nice thing that Beast Striker contributes to the deck, because you really want triple Avarice in these sorts of builds. We draw Dust Shoot, which is really good. We snipe the Gores. I don't think that's right. What am I thinking? What am I actually thinking? Like, Gores is just, like, terrible if I know it's there. Why am I taking the Gores? What am I doing? What is my past self doing? Anyway. So he hits over our Beast Striker, which is... Probably should have hit over the Moja first, actually, because now the Moja's live. But anyway, the opponent goes for Stratos. I think they summon it. They don't summon it. They're playing around Torrential, I guess. We Mega Punish them with the Minecon and the only Sangan in the deck. And then we Mirror Force, and they just scoop. I don't know why they flipped this up, because that just plays even worse, ironically, into my own Mirror Force. Which, yeah, obviously I was just going to grab, like, I don't know, Cat or something off of this, go double Airbellum, or maybe Monk, pitch, go double Airbellum, start ripping cards. So they do, I mean, maybe they didn't need to scoop. They could set the Phoenix Wing and try to just, yeah, there's probably a little bit of a preemptive scoop, but they played super hard into Mirror Force, and then when they really didn't need to play this hard into Mirror Force. Like, this is not that desperate of a situation. You're not going to, like, win the game if I don't have Mirror Force here. There's just, like, no reason to go for it. So, yeah. I mean, mistakes happen. Obviously, I made a ton of mistakes in these games, as we've seen so far. So, yeah, it is what it is. Another match. Is this the final match? Do we have one more? I guess I'll check later. So, it's GBs again? Good lord. God help us. I just go for the Storm, which, yeah, I mean... If it's Road, I'm fine, whatever. When we lost game 1 against GBs, we'll bring in the sideboard hate. But it's not Road, it's Judgment, so great to get that out of the way, because we're definitely not doing anything here in terms of adding their field if we don't get rid of the Solemn Judgment. So we go for Beast Striker. This is a really good play, going second, having the Beast Striker, King of the Beast combo. So he's going to bottomless it, which, if he knew what my cards did, he would have waited and bottomless this, maybe. Honestly, compulsing this isn't necessarily worse. He just had to make a really awkward play to out this. We would have been a fine spot, but I make a bit of a misplay here. I'm thinking if he had a War Chariot, he would have set it, but he actually just top decked the War Chariot, and I could have just played around it with the Book of Moon, but I get greedy and I get mega punished by this. So if I'd booked this and gone for the Monk play, this would have been a different game maybe. We do have the Gores, but obviously GBs don't really care about Gores. He just loops back the War Chariot, goes into that smashing. He could have gone Murmillo and then smashing, and yeah, it would have been whatever. So we get over the quest. We're still in a fine spot, but I think I punt this game further in the future. So we go for the Book of Moon, which is fine. We go for that, force out the War Chariot, hit over the Quarry, but then I just set this Hamster when I didn't need to, because I've got an 18 token here that he just can't out with these 3 GBs. But now I've just set this so he can hit in and get the Bestie and go Gyzaris, which I would have just been fine here if I just passed on this token, but I, like, brain turned off and I made a stupid play, and now we're just completely screwed. So I like threw that game multiple ways. Like, you can argue that the Book of Moon, or the holding the Book of Moon on the Laquari, was not necessarily a misplay, because what's the chances that he just top decked War Chariot there? Like, that's just variance, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! But like the play there where I just, like, blatantly gave him something to ram into and then make Gyzaris on me that was just, there's no excusing that. That was so stupid. That was like I don't know, room temperature IQ plays there. He goes for the Test Tiger, but we have the Book of Moon, which is obviously insane. Triple Book of Moon in this deck. I'm a big fan of it. I love this card. It's way better than like Bottomless Trap Hole and D Prison, I find. And it's a spell for Monk. So, and it goes well with Hamster Raikou, but I don't know why I keep spoiling the deck list, but anyway. We go for the Flip Hamster. We know we can't get over this because it's 11. I cold waved, right? Yeah. So we have to get into the big boy. And we hit in, and we just hope the opponent doesn't have a GB big enough to hit over this, which they fortunately do not. The fact that they normal summon this means they almost certainly have War Chariot, so we got to worry about that. We go for Upstart, and we're just going to try to hit over it before flipping Raikou, which is going to work. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And then I think, okay, we just set another Raikou and then set Judgment, and now we are just going ham with the Raikous, because might as well get these pluses picking off the back row while we can. We get rid of D Prison, which is awesome. And he probably should have used that on King of the Beasts last turn. Didn't he have that just sitting there? Now he can't out it, because if he goes for something like that, we can just solemn it. But he is going to compulse it back. We're fine with that, though. We just tribute our, like, liability Raikos and summon another King of the Beasts. Are we... Is this replay broke again? We got 2 broken replays? Oh, how did this happen? Alright, like, we won this game. It's pretty clear at this point we're in a winning position, so just, like, accept that within the next, like, 1 or 2 turns I won that game, and he didn't find anything. So, yeah. Game number 3. Game number 3 is going to start out here, but we have Cold Wave. And we just have a really good going second hand here in the GBs. So we go for the Charge with Light Brigade. I do make a bit of a risky play, deciding I want to resolve this Raiko first. We maybe could have somehow gotten punished for this, but with double Book of Moon, I feel pretty safe unless he's got one of the, like, sweepers like Cold Wave Heavy. So we just pick off that back row. And he goes Di-Fi. So here we have to wave anyway. Maybe should have just popped the Stratos. So we go for the Beast Striker play, get both the big boys on the field, hit over both his monsters. And now he's under Cold Wave, just can't really do anything into our field of beaters that are bigger than his, just everything, because both these guys are just bigger than all the GBs. So one thing I really like about this deck is that it just clowns on my least favorite deck, because you just spam out these beaters that are bigger than all their guys. We go for the Airbellum, but he books it, which is basically the same thing as getting the +1 from the hand rip, but we miss out on the damage. And he's just got a bunch of GBs in hand. We have multiple stops with the Book of Moons, and that's going to be game over. That's going to about wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the replays and me going over my clownish misplays. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a channel member, all that stuff, and I will see you tomorrow with the deck profile.